production, which has been extensive. Yeah.
Good evening. Good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight here at Creative Cauldron. I catch my breath. My name is Delisa Vargas. I am a proud board member and parent of the Learning Theater here at Creative Cauldron, and I'd like to welcome you all to tonight's performance. Do we have some new folks in the audience today? With a raise of hands. Welcome. We hope this is your first of many visits to the Cauldron. We have a special night tonight, but I have a few housekeeping announcements. And we have an ongoing cabaret series that occurs, excuse my voice, that is going throughout the summer and into early September here, and we do them on Fridays and Saturday nights, and they're set up just like tonight. And wonderful DC area performers come in on a regular basis, and it's just a wonderful evening, a date night, and just a great night out no matter what. Some of the best DC talent comes through our doors, and we are so thrilled about that, so we hope you'll check that out. We also have our upcoming 2018-2019 season, which is our 10th anniversary season here at Creative Cauldron in the space. Very excited. Outside on the table, if you haven't picked it up already, or in your brochures, is our upcoming season, which is a highlight of the last 10 years here at Creative Cauldron, and we kick off with a wonderful production called Nevermore from Matt Connor. And we hope you'll come back and check us out for that as well. As a board member, I can tell you a dozen million things about this wonderful little black box theater. But what I will tell you is that here is a place of self-discovery. Here is a place of art and music and identity for the children who come through, whether it's through camps or the learning series, on through the productions and the bold new works that folks come here and create. It is a magical little black box theater, and we are so thrilled tonight to have a very special guest from A Place to Be, which is a nonprofit out in Middleburg, Virginia, that is working and using music therapy to help with mental illness. And we are so honored and thrilled to have tonight our friends from Middleburg here in the house to present this cabaret and to really share with us how art and music heals. I say all the time, music heals, and tonight is the absolute embodiment of that reality. And I'm going to stop talking. But I would encourage you to reach out to any of us if you're interested in the work that's being done here at Cauldron tonight and beyond. But I would like to introduce this evening who will be leading us, Mr. Tom Schweitzer, who is the head of
Hi, my name is Tom. I run this company with Kim Tapper, who is there in the darkness. We're a nonprofit organization out in Loudoun County, and I'm a music therapist, and we provide music therapy and expressive arts therapies to over 400 people per week. We have a staff right now of 17, and we have 8 full-time music therapists. We also are the music therapy department of all Inova hospitals. And the other part of what we do, we call performance-based music therapy, and that's what you're about to see tonight. How do you use music to help you deal with who you are, what you're going through? Tonight I promise you, and I love this space, and I want to thank Laura for having us here. I'm very close friends with a gentleman. For those of you that are Creative Cauldron people, I graduated with Matt Connor years ago, maybe more than 2 or 3 years ago. He is an amazing writer, director, producer, and I thank Laura and he for inviting us. You are about to encounter something pretty amazing, because you're going to hear the truth from these 15 to 22-year-olds. In a little warning, there is mature subject matter, which I hear at Creative Cauldron, that's okay. There might be a couple words that I think most of you know. And if you don't, you can help the person next to you understand that. Ears. So we are going to perform for you tonight songs that we have created through expressive arts and music therapy. From shows we have done, you're going to be hearing songs from a show called A Will to Survive, which was based on a young man who took his life right in our neighborhood. And actually in this cast, 4 or 5 of them were very close friends of his. You're going to be hearing that tonight. You're also going to have a lot of comedy. Because we are so intimate, I really beg of you to let go with these guys. We're going to do a set for you, then we're going to have a 15-minute intermission. It's not a long show, but still we're going to take a break and then have you come back. So I'm going to invite them out. This is the cast from A Place to Be. And no matter what age you are, and it has increasingly gotten harder as this generation is being brought up. And what you're about to hear are perspectives and thoughts and feelings, emotions of how hard it is some days to just get through one day. Do you all remember being an adolescent who, if you're not a teenager right now, some of you recall that? That one day you don't need. It was just last week for you. One day you wake up, you feel one way, the next day you feel another way, and things become very confusing. Also, it's a time where things are awakening. So we're going to start out with a song called One Day.
One day can feel like a lifetime. One day can seem like a nightmare. Fix that hair, show some care. You forgot to wear your underwear. More helmets.
One day, everything's too late. One day, reach for the stars.
In your dreams, you're quite refined. You speak your mind.
Oh, hey, I was wondering if you maybe wanted to grab dinner with me sometime next week.
Next week's not good. I'm so much going
The
on.
week after that?
It's like a whole month. It's like
Oh,
that.
I got it. Okay, got it.
But maybe still have to
Got
talk
it.
some.
It's good pound me, bro.
One day, everything merges into a big ball of shit.
Those who say they love you want to take a back seat.
Just want to get through one day and feel that in some way I'm significant, relevant, someone who they won't forget. One day all seems so useless that you can't even think. And before you know it, you're in your favorite class. One day, one day, one day.
In today's world, you can look around and see a screen anywhere. In basically every one of your pockets, there is a cell phone with a screen on it, and on that cell phone you can access the news. And on the news, all you see is one side accusing the other of something ridiculous, and then you flip to another station, you see that station accusing the other side of the complete opposite. It just makes it very hard to find any sort of real truth in this world.
We're so obsessed with social media, it's controlled our lives. I know every teenager is on their phone, on their Instagram, their Snapchat, seemingly disconnected from all of us. We've lost ourselves, our individuality.
Another group of people shot, innocent, unaware. Politics crammed down my throat, hand me the remote.
People on their Instagram, addicted to the phone. Where is reality? Am I in this alone? The world is surreal. Have we forgotten how to feel? How to stop and dream with someone?
Become somewhat famous if you've got enough views. This is just not working. That's what they say on the news.
You can tell your story and then snap, it's gone. Counting likes to validate your existence and beyond. The world is surreal. Have we forgotten how to feel? How to stop and dream with someone? Is it too late for us to heal in a world that can't find
Anxiety. That's a word you've probably heard a few times in your life. And it's something that has plagued me for a very long time. I have something called PTSD, which I got from having an abusive father and a very difficult childhood. But anxiety can come from anything. Whether it's something someone says to you, or a color or a sound you hear, people can be triggered. It makes their mind tell them, you're not good enough. You can't do this. You want to try out for that? You think you can handle this? No. You're never going to amount to anything that you want to do. And for a moment, we just forget to breathe.
Bring grace, it's bring grace,
I can't move, but I want to. The colors fading to gray. I can't breathe, but I have to stay alive. It's like I can't catch my breath. Everything goes black and my mind starts telling me I can't do this. thighs are fat, and then I count the numbers forward to back. 3, 2, 1. I think I said something stupid to my friend last night, and I repay my parents' latest fight. And there's nothing but my own heartbeats. Nothing inside my mind. Nothing like a movie on rewind. I hate the word trigger. It makes me pissed. And every time I hear it, I feel I don't exist. My stomach jumps 1,000 feet, and then there's a rush from my chest up to my throat. It feels like death. And there's nothing but my own heartbeats. Nothing inside my mind. Nothing like a movie on rewind. And it's like I'm not even inside my own body. I'm watching myself in a mirror. And I see myself floating through the air. I see myself floating without a care about what I wear or how I look. Nobody touches my book like its cover. I want to push the tears back in my eyes, back into the little holes where they came from. I want to see the trees and the sky. My family friends seem to smile, and once again I am free.
Songs are from the musical A Will to Survive. I had the honor, how that came about was, I had the honor and privilege to speak at William's funeral. And unfortunately, William was one of 9 young people in Loudoun County within those 2 years that took his life. And it was on that day that I decided that A Place to Be needed to do something, and a friend of mine and I went back, and we were also very honored to have the journals that William kept from his mom. She gave them to us, and hence came this next song you're about to hear, Starlight. And then the song after that is going to be sung by Nora, and the song was actually written by one of our music therapists, but Nora, who will be performing for you, actually in the first song and by herself after, she was one of about 6 or 7 of these guys, one of Will's very, very close friends. So our mission, when we talk about suicide prevention, which is a good time to tell you that for any of you that have any questions or would like to learn more, we have actually NAMI is out there. They have a table with brochures and such, and are there for you to talk to. We teach these guys in the world of today that before you think of doing anything, that there's always somebody out there to reach out to. So this is Starlight, and then the second song is called The Wait.
I wanted to help you, I didn't know what to do. I'm a mess in your favorite dress. You know that I wore the night on that bridge. You're always right, you know. The one by the waterfall where we fell in love. The night of a million stars.
You brought me so much starlight. You showed me I wasn't so strange. Like a mirror, I saw myself. We were the same.
You left me standing on a side and sage in a range. Picture of you, don't know what to do. How how to pursue the next step in life. You left us hanging, waiting for you. The night of a million stars.
You brought us so much starlight. You showed us we weren't so strange. Like a mirror we saw ourselves. We are the same. We are the same. You brought us so much starlight. You showed us we weren't so strange. Like a mirror we saw ourselves. We are the same. We are the same.
I'm Dora.
Chose to believe the only way out was to leave. Grounded on a cold shingle roof, we jumped into the snow-covered yard in our youth. And I miss the warmth and weight of arms like blankets. How they wrap you up and hold you tight, hold you through your shaking nights. My friends saw me walk through the flames. Hoses in a bonfire, melted sneakers were made, and I wore them to school the next day, paired with confusion and dismay. Inside my mind, wish I didn't hide, wish I'd said a little more to share the weight that pulls me down. Death doesn't dissipate, it only spreads weight around. Yeah, I thought I could be weightless, but a death too soon makes weight that's contagious. Sure, I'm grown, but not enough. Wild like a cherry tree, making dice to eat. Now they're planted around the house, but the taste is bittersweet. Oh, out of the window each night, burn my faith in the darkest of skies. I chose to believe there's a
Thank you.
So you're learning a little bit about us. So those of us that did theater since we were 5, you have to have courage to get up here. This is a different form of theater. This is why we call it performance-based therapy, because we who love theater want these moments you're feeling right now. And what we try to help with is, I mean, I know you just heard me, she just did that run of notes. We all felt what that felt like. But the courage of a beautiful woman who is sitting here singing her heart out to you, that Nora can just be like, oh, okay, I'll just that is like, that shows the whole world what it is to make a mistake and then to stop it in beauty and then keep going. To talk about beautiful, next we have Blake Carlson. The next couple of sections are about puberty and growing up. Puberty, what a great word.
So, being my age is weird because I'm 18, so technically I'm an adult. But none of you see me as an adult. And to be fair, it's warranted. I'm younger than the OJ trial in Google, so your opinion makes sense. And I just got a little ways to go before I earn your respect as a man, you know? To you guys, I'm still 2 stomach pumps, 3 bar fights, and a 401k away from being an adult, and that's fine. But, you know, you're treated differently as a child than an adult, and that's obvious. It's a very obvious statement, but it bleeds into scenarios I hadn't even thought of yet. Like if me 3-4 years ago, if I'm running from a fully grown man, people are going to lean in and go, hey, stop, you know? But now, me as a legal adult, if I'm being chased by another legal adult, people don't do anything. They find a way in their minds to justify it so they don't have to help. Just me booking it down Main Street with a 40-year-old hobo with lust in his eyes chasing after me. I'm like, help! And they're like, they're racing. It's fine. If I wasn't fast, that day could have turned out very differently. But I live life sort of at a faster pace than a lot of people. If you notice, I talk a little fast, I walk fast near my friends, and I'm learning to slow things down, take my time, you know? Because cute girls will often ask, hey, does anyone know what time it is? Because cute girls never know what time it is. usually I'm like, 5:15, it's 5:15, please state me. Not only does that motion cause a typhoon somewhere in the South Pacific, it makes me look desperate, so I'm like, slow things down, take my time. So now when a cute girl is like, hey, and you know what time it is? I'm like, oh, it's 5:15. Usually we just start making out at that point. Girls love me all the time. I don't know if you knew that. I'm starting to realize how much my parents actually do for me. Because I was sick a few weeks ago because I kissed the wrong girl. That's a lie. I was laughing at my friend's joke and he sneezed right into my mouth. It doesn't matter why I was sick. And my mom was taking care of me, and it was the worst day ever. Not because my mom. She was great, although she did think I was asleep at one point. She started to watch 50 Shades and Unmanned. Other than that, perfect angel. It was a bad day because I realized when you're sick, it's almost like you're possessed, you know? So you can just squirm around and mumble things under your breath, and occasionally you'll just vomit for no reason. My mom is sitting there trying to be Dayquil, like, I hereby expel the virus and I want soup! Zero idea what I'm going to do when my kids are sick, because I don't know what to do. My mom and my dad, they make it look so easy, so effortless. But adults know a lot more than I do. I don't know how to pull a park. I don't know nothing about long distance travel. So every year we go up to New York, about 6 hours to see family. My mom, my dad, me, and my brothers, Ian and Cameron. And so my mom and parents wanted me to drive like half the way, like 2 or 3 hours. And they were like, all right, Blake, what roads are we taking? What roads? We're taking I-66, I-89. I'm like, I don't know. As far as I know, I'm going to veer off the road and we're all going to die. You and Dad, you guys are going to heaven. You're getting camera. We got some stuff to sort out first. I'm going to toss the piece to Dad for now. I'm not dying of virgin. But there was a point in my life where sex just became relevant, you know? I don't know if it was because I wanted it more, or my friends started to pair up sexually, but I didn't see it coming. It was like I had walked into my house, and overnight someone had turned my house into a brothel. At first, of course, I'm going to walk in and go, that's a brothel. Why? Over time, my life just became, Trish, John, looking good now. Tiffany, oh, I didn't know you were that flexible. That's good to be. No, not me, no, today. Thanks, though. And the worst part about this brothel is that I'm just the secretary. You know?
This scene was inspired by many, as a therapist I sit across from, many young men who have questions about you know what. One of my funniest stories, maybe 8 years ago, a young man who I was working with, I knew that he had some questions about sex, and I'm his therapist. His father and mother drove into the parking lot. The father came up to me, gave me a $20 bill, and he said, if you take care of these 3 questions, I'll give you another 20. The young man started his conversation out with saying to me, Mr. Tom, did you ever notice the life of a banana slug and how many times it can have sex during the day? No, I never noticed that. So that's what this is about.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, bud. Just came up to hang out. I told your mom that I'd hang out with you.
What kind of hangout?
Well, just, just talk a little bit. Have a little conversation. Have a good night.
Yeah.
You? Okay. You know about that, right?
We are not
No. Your mom found a box of condoms in the top of your dresser. What? It's okay. It's fine. It's good that they're good. This week, we know you're 17. We know it's confusing and there's hormones and so many things that. Listen, I don't want to be cliche, okay? I told your mom I would come up here and I could say, let's have a sex talk. But you know what? When I was in college, there was this band, a duo, called Salt and Pepper. They had this song called Let's Talk About Sex, Baby. That was the first time that I heard
No.
Holy shit. Talk about me.
Hey, why don't we sit, buddy?
What an awkward, desperate attempt. I'm trying to be the father that's cool.
You know, part of puberty is like armpit hair, then you grow pubic hair.
Really just say that. I don't want to be rude, but he should say.
It's all about the girls, right, bud? All about the girls. You have to worry about pregnancy, but when you're with a girl, there are many other things to worry about. There are venereal diseases. Things have changed greatly since your mom and I first had sex. Buddy, it's normal. Hey, it's normal if you want to do it. And if you haven't already done it, it's really normal to have that dirty sock in your drawer. Your mom washed it. She's going to bring it right back up. Sex is normal.
This isn't normal.
Talk, we really must talk about sex. Sex. I don't want to brag. was what they called the ladies' man. And let's just say it was the 1980s, and Aerosmith and I had a good time in the backseat of my Pinto.
Thinking about his gross memory.
You know, I didn't tell your mom I was going to tell you this part, but I lost my virginity in 9th grade. I had oral sex with a neighbor girl in 8th grade.
There were some words off limits that parents shouldn't say.
When my dad tried to teach me about this, he used a visual aid. So ever since the 40s, I found this in my closet. And I thought this might help. Here, have some. I just thought this might help us. It's not a computer. It's not a computer, but hold on 1 second. I have a chapter here. Have you ever seen a vagina? By the history on your computer, we know you know. It looks like that. I know this stuff. I don't want to talk. We really must talk about sex. Sex. So you like anybody? Young girl? You have a girl? Young girl? Do you have to know? Oh, I don't want to get in your business or anything yet.
Well, I do.
Who?
It's Grace.
Grace? Now that, my friend, is a good choice.
Yeah, you're making it sound like I ordered her for dinner.
Listen, all your mom and I care about is that you keep it in your pants. I don't want to talk. It's okay to talk about sex. That's my boy. Come on. Sex. Stand in here. Sex. You know what? You're growing up. Someday you're going to find the right girl. She's gonna. All right, I'm gonna go down and tell your mom you and I had a really good talk. Okay? Is that good? All right.
Man, it was some class today, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Isn't Miss? I couldn't pay attention, man. Miss Davis is so hot. I'm like super crazy. Davis. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, hey.
But Miss Ferguson?
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally, man. I got it.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Did you put on for this? Yes. I'd have to go home and talk to my mom, and that might spell like illegal. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Sweet. Great. Have a great day. I'll see you later.
All right. Bye. Have a good day. That's all you say. Why do you linger inside me this way? I can't begin to deal with this confusion of why I'm a fool. I don't understand. I'm a man, you're a man. What the fuck is happening? I'm a man, he's a man. This is not what my family planned. Here's the perfume, the bouncy press, and all the things guys like the best.
God's sake, you even have a hairy chest. I'm a man, you're a man, but I seem to like you, but I seem to love you the best. Hey. Oh hey! How's it going, Dave?
How's it going, David? Alright, bag.
Yeah, bag, right, I'm just gonna look at that. Here you go. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm doing just great.
It's good. Right. How me?
Yeah, sure.
Alright. See you later.
Okay, see you later. Later is all you've got to tell me until we meet again. I'm a man, he's a man. Oh, he makes me crazy. I'm a man, he's a man. I can't tell him how I feel. When I see him, it makes me sick, imagining his body and his...
Cameron!
Yeah, what's up?
You do know you're gay, right? I'm the only one who doesn't know. Oh, and your friend David? You might want to tell him. So I've struggled with body image, that kind of stuff, like my entire life. And for a long time, I was having a lot of issues surrounding that and my weight, and I didn't really know why. And really, anytime I go to the doctor, even for mental health reasons, they'd be like, maybe it'd help if you lose some weight. And for a long time, I even struggled with an eating disorder. They'd be like, well, that's probably not happening because you're overweight. And a few weeks ago, I actually got diagnosed with PCOS, and after I started treatment, a lot of my chronic pain symptoms went away after that. So body image is such a huge thing, and it's not even understood by medical professionals that are supposed to be helping you, and it's such a big issue. This past spring, I self-published a book of poetry, and so here is a poem from that called Heart Disease, which talks about some of the struggles I've had with body image. I try to love my body with my marks and curves and overflow. I am 320 pounds of flesh and fat, and some days I cannot breathe under the weight of that number. Some days I feel happy and confident only because I have forgotten who I am. I see my reflection, and the reality of fat cheeks and the spinning earth hits me hard. I sit breathless, dissociating, hating a body and a face that is only mine to claim. I have given so many pieces of myself out to others that there is nothing left for me. I told them to eat their hearts out, but I think they ate mine instead. At least I lost a few pounds.
Look at me
My name is Daniel Derrico. I'm going to be performing an original song I wrote called Story of an Underdog. This song was inspired by my personal experience of just feeling an underdog most of my life, from being bullied for the majority of my school career, as well as becoming very ill with Tourette's syndrome and OCD, and not knowing if I would ever return back to my normal self again. This song goes out to anyone who's ever felt underappreciated, undervalued, or an underdog in this life, and I dedicate it to everyone that feels that way. So here's Story of an Underdog. Do we have the track? Sorry. Here we go. Story of an Underdog. It's the story of an underdog, rising up out of the fog. Story of an underdog, yeah. Do you ever feel like it's you against the world? And the odds are stacked against you, but you will not be deterred. I'm trying to prove the critics wrong in all they say. Even when it seems like all hope is gone, you always find a way to keep holding on. Just know in your heart that there will be a day when the tables will turn and the favorites will fade, and you'll finally earn the respect you always gave. And when challenges ahead, you know to always be brave and be strong, 'cause that's the story of an underdog. Yeah, yeah. You've been underrated all your life, never earned a thing without having to fight for it, 'cause you know it's not right to quit. And even when it seems like all hope is gone, you always find a way to keep holding on. To know in your heart that there will be a day when the tables will turn and the favorites will fade, and you finally earn the respect you always gave. And when challenge is ahead, you know to always be brave and be strong, 'cause that's the story of an underdog. Whoa, yeah, yeah. Keep fighting and don't you ever stop, 'cause one day you might just make it to the top. Running on fumes, but you keep going anyway. Beat up and bruised, you never think to see the day. Keep fighting and don't you ever stop, 'cause one day you might just make it to the top. Running on fumes, but you keep going anyway. Beat up and bruised, you never think to see the day when the tables will turn and the favorites will fade, and finally earn the respect you always gave. And when challenge is ahead, you know to always be brave and be strong, 'cause that's the story of an underdog. Whoa, yeah, yeah. Rising up
here. Why don't we meet them and talk to them? Because what starts to happen, what we hope when you see one of our shows is that if you have something, or you have a child in your life, or you have an individual in your life that is suffering from mental health or disability of some sort, that you gain the courage. This is such an amazing venue because we're this close. Usually for these guys that are singing their hearts out, literally, you know, there's a theater that's way out there. This is beautiful. So I'm going to ask them to just come out. If you feel like going up to one of them and saying something, I greatly, as one of their mentors in their life, their lives, would appreciate that. And we'll see you back here in 15 minutes. Thank you.
No, it was chocolate.
Okay, you guys, come on out, cast. Can we have a round of applause for them? But that is an adopted last name from my grandfather on my dad's side. My mother's last name was Del Grosso. If I look Italian, I am. Del Grosso, translated in English, means of the large, which explains my family and explained me as a child. I was as large as a big meatball. And so the story I'm going to tell you about is I grew up, one of my high school friends, Jason. Where are you sitting, Jason? Right here. Oh my goodness. This is right here. Oh, give a round of applause. There. We're from Altoona, Pennsylvania. We are putting Altoona on the map. If you drove through it, you probably drove through it. I love my hometown. Anyway, I don't think, Jason, we haven't seen each other in like, I just figured it out. How many years was that? Like if we were 18 and we're 46 now? That's a long time. Anyways, you're going to understand this story. So, how many of you remember in the 60s, 70s, 80s, well, we still have them, but what Sears Roebuck used to look like? Yeah. Right? So we had Sears and we had the Wish Book. Remember that? Yeah, so when you were a kid in the late 70s and you had a weight issue, the Wish Book wasn't really wishy. You didn't have any choices, especially when it came to pants. There's a name that I still cringe every time I hear, and it's called Husky Pants. Oh, listen to men. Husky Pants. So I'll tell you a story really quickly. I was 10 years old, and my mom was a very large Italian woman, very strong. Unfortunately died when I was pretty young, but she was, you didn't want to mess with her. She always had a spatula in her hand and a meatball in her other. So one Christmas when I was 10 years old, up to 10, so Husky Pants, first of all, they don't fit. There were only two kinds. You had brown or you had black corduroy, that when your legs moved together it made a noise. And also where the crotch sort of fell was down to your knees. And it also had the word husky in the back, which made you feel great about who you were. So I was 10 years old. I told my mother, whatever you do for Christmas, I do not want to see a pair of Husky Pants. And I really meant it. We didn't have much money, but my mom made sure I always had Christmas gifts. So at 10 years old, I went to the tree, under the tree, and I saw two boxes that looked like there could be clothing in them. So I thought, I'm going to just get these over with now. So I opened it up. Now, grant you, I already had Husky Pants. I didn't need new ones. I opened up the presents, and there they were, black corduroy Husky Pants. And my mom said to me, "You don't look like you're appreciative. Remember the spatula. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to be appreciative. I'm just going to open up this next box. Well, it was husky pants. And I made a very large mistake. I said, yep. And I told her what to do with her Christmas using that same word. And my mother said, what did you say to me? And I said, this Christmas, these pants, and Santa Claus too. My mom said, don't you touch another present. And I was like, I don't know if I said it again. It was something to piss her off. She said, I want you in the car. You have 10 seconds. Get your coat on now. And when my mom was serious, she was pretty serious. I'm like, what are we going to do? It's Christmas morning. And so I probably fought back and forth, and she said, I need you in the car now. Get your coat on. I was in pajamas. Went to the car. She got into the car, locked the door, seatbelts, and we start driving. And she said, I cannot believe you would ever speak to me like that. You were the most unappreciative child. And this was pretty, you know, I felt bad, but I didn't really feel that bad. I wanted Kermit the Frog puppet. I didn't want those pants. So we're driving down Altoona to the Pleasant Valley Boulevard, where the mall is. And I'm like, it's Christmas morning. And my mom said, you should have never spoken to me like this. And so we're driving, and I see Sears to the side, and it probably has a foot of snow at that time. And I'm like, what are we doing? She drives into the parking lot, and we park. And I'm like, Mom, what are we doing here? It's snowing. It's Christmas morning. It's not even open. And she said, just wait. 2 minutes go by, and the doors to Sears open up. And a very large man, about 4'5", who looks like he was wearing husky pants, opens up the door and waves. And I'm like, what's happening? And my mom looked at me, and she took a receipt out of her bag, and she said, you know those plastic mannequins that are in the Husky Boys section? Mm-hmm. Those are boys who are nasty to their mothers at Christmas. This is the receipt to return you. So I start crying. And she said, those boys who treat their mothers like this at Christmas, they become the mannequins in the Husky Boys section. The man waddles from the door, comes, knocks on my window. He waves. I start to cry. No, please, oh God, don't take me. Anyways, that's my husky pants story. My mother was friends with the manager at Sears. She called, she got a favor. He was going to church, so he was already dressed up. She said, could you just please stop by Sears and teach my son a lesson? I wore those husky pants for weeks. So I dedicate this song right here to my mom and Christmas morning. Passing the appliances, and now the shoes. Passing the youngest section, what's a boy to do? Past the sporting goods, past the jewelry counter. I'm so excited for my Sears and Roebuck shopping encounter. The fluorescent lights guide me, the smell of new fabric in the air. Finally we reach our destination. My mom says, honey, we're here. And in front of me is a boy, a plastic boy wearing a Christmas sweater and a pair of corduroy. So my mom forgot to mention we were stopping by the husky pant section. just go on and see. I want a skinny shopping spree, but not me. I'm husky. Into the dressing room. Into the dressing room. I don't know what's next. Anyways, I get to the dressing room and off with the sweatpants onto the floor. That's good that you know that. Off go the sweatpants onto the floor. I double check there's no one staring in the crack in the door. My head is spinning, my stomach hurts. I'm sweating profusely as I reluctantly take off my shirt. I hated trying pants on at 46, but I still do. So then I took the pants and up the ankles, now up the calves. Oh, sweet Jesus, we're almost there by half. Up over my thighs, now over my butt. Now just to get this freaking button shut. And for any of you that have a belly, you know this. My mom would stand outside the door and say, "Suck it in, Tommy, suck it in." And I tried. Suck it in, Tommy, suck it in. And there's just no way it would fit. Suck it in, 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 suck it in. And finally, oh, it buttons. And you feel so good, but you know you can't breathe. You're husky.
When I was a little girl, I would watch Teen Titans, Power Rangers, some questionable Cartoon Network shows like Ed and Nettie. And I loved it. I just got this thrill, and it was just great. But when I started hanging out with girls my own age, started to grow up, they weren't talking about Power Rangers, whether they wanted to be red or black or whatever. They were talking about Hannah Montana, Jasmine from Aladdin, and I didn't get it. But hey, the girl wants to fit in, right? So I started watching Disney Channel, Hannah Montana, and all these girly shows, all these princess movies to get my Prince Charming. That's what I thought I needed to do. So I forgot about my superhero crime-fighting ambitions and just focused on getting that prince, like every girl chasing their Disney ambition.
I always wanted to be that princess under the sea. Living in a fairy tale seemed like such a dream, but when the credits rolled, it always seemed that my life never met the standards of a Disney fairy tale. Growing up with these stories, it made me seem that my expectations were not high enough to be given that happily ever
I wanted to swim in an ocean and swim with a tail, be captured by a prince. What an awesome fairy tale. I watched that movie over 1,000 times, had every song memorized. I'm not a mermaid or married to a prince.
Watch him in a game, cheer out his name as he made a home run or an out. But all these things are not what Eric is about. We would tuck him in at night without a struggle or a fight. We would sit and watch him play with the neighbors. We would smile when we heard about the first girl he liked, or when he begged to drive, you know, the normal teenage life. But every day for Eric is survive. He's my son when he screams, when he's distant and silent, when he runs around and makes sounds that they don't understand. He's my son when he's happy, confused or sad. But that's all right by me, because I'm proud to be his dad. Does he have to be a tough guy to survive outside of this world that we made for him? Will he stand up on his own, or be left alone for the rest of his life without a family or even a wife? What will he have to sacrifice? Son, do you know how proud I am of
to be so perfectly everything I dreamed for a son to be. You're the perfect child for me. You're my sun in the morning, in the daytime and night. No matter what you do, I'm here for you for the rest of your life. I'm your son, you are my everything. You're my hopes and dreams, my sunrise and sunbeams, my stars up in the sky. And when I look into your eyes, I wonder how boring my life would be if you were anything like me.
Hi. I am 18 years old, and for about 10 years of my life, I've gotten to wake up every morning and fight my own brain to get out of bed. I know, it's really exciting. I'm usually really terrible at talking about how I'm feeling or what I'm feeling or putting that into any sort of English language. But I've recently had a revelation, so you all get to hear about it. So, yay! It's very exciting. Thank you! So, sometimes life just moves really fast for me. Like, I'm anxious all the time, literally shaking at every second. My house is impeccably clean because I'm running around vacuuming my ceilings, which I'm sure you haven't put a lot of thought into, but I think about it a lot. And it's just too much. I'm awake for days, but it's great because I have all this energy and I'm ready to go. But it's after that period of intense organization ability ends when I start sinking, and I feel like I'm floating in this world. I can't focus, I can't process things. My brain, which I really love, feels like it's far away. Feels like I'm walking through a maze. And at one point, my soul and everything that I am left my body, and somehow it found the end and I'm still stuck. Yeah, and I run around feeling hopeless, like a shell of a human being, just really not knowing where I'm going, what I'm doing, or why I'm here at all. But I think what's interesting is that I'm not the only one that feels like that. I'm not the only one who has been fighting their own brain every day for years just to function, just to say hello to someone, just to make eye contact with someone. I'm still here. I'm still standing here with all of my friends in front of you, but there are people that aren't. There are people who got lost in the maze. There are people that couldn't make it through one more day. But I'm still here, which I'm thankful for, because I am working towards finding that, my soul at the end of the maze. I know that I'll find it. And I think it's important to remember that just because we might be going through a day with all our own stuff inside of our head, the person next to us is going through just as much. It might be different, it's definitely different, but they're going through something too. So reaching out to those around you when you're in need, or reaching out when you think they might be in need, is the way that we're all going to get through the maze together.
This society, for years, has failed our youth.
Amen.
It's failed to teach us how to live, how to love each other, how to love ourselves. I've lost 2 friends to this sad fact. Too many. First one was Ryan Bartell. I didn't know him well enough. He was the brother of one of my friends. He died October 16th, 2014. Some of his last words were that he felt that he couldn't function or be a part of this society. When I thought it couldn't get any worse, the kid that Tom was talking about earlier, the kid who A Will to Survive is based off of, Will Robinson, my childhood friend, one of my best childhood friends that I had known since 12 years old, died on January 14th, 2016, precisely 7 days after my 18th birthday. He also felt that he had no place in this society because he was different. He was a leader. And there are no programs for leaders. So I wrote a song about him, before he experienced the things he experienced in his childhood that changed his life forever. Just how I saw him. The lyrics are very personal. It's called The April Fool, as he was born in April.
May weather's intense from my all-time appearance, but I'll give you a chance. What's your problem? What's your past? I'm the April fool that you wake up to, that you never expect to be a wreck. I'm the April fool who loves you too. If I welcome you, make you laugh. But I'll never be. It seems I'll never change. I'll never leave you, no matter what we've been through. I'll never leave you, someday. My parents say that there are milestones that every high school kid should experience. Dances, football games, and that pep rally. It's all way too much pressure for me. What about those of us in the middle who might not win trophies with thousands of others hoping for a spot? There's not a milestone for
finding that one. How intense and sensual the tune. I haven't come across a scenario where love gives you all the stars and the moon. What about those of us in the middle?
Profound relationship we have had with this young lady. Her name is Amy Stone, and this is Ryan Perry. Amy started with us at A Place to Be. I met her when she was about 10 years old. She's not 10 anymore. And without her being a part of us, there's a very good chance that A Place to Be would have never existed without her. And watching her grow into the woman she is, I asked her to speak tonight as we close our presentation to you. This is Ryan and Amy.
Milestones or something, right? One of the milestones a lot of people experience in their adolescent adventures is dating. And I did a little bit of that in middle school, but looking back, I kind of like to think of that as training wheels dating. But about a year and a half ago, when I was just turned 21, I started my first meaningful relationship with someone that I really care about. Someone right here.
So, hi everyone. Hi. I have the gift of being able to be in something called a relationship, which is a milestone that I myself and many people around me probably wondered if I was ever going to be able to achieve. When Ryan and I first started this thing that I call a journey, I remember leaning up against his hands that were on the table, and with tears in my eyes, I looked up at him and I said, I never year and a half, I have learned something very special. And that is that you can be in a relationship with your full heart, your full self, and thank you, Ryan, for helping me understand that there is every possibility for me to become someone big.
Everyone should have their